Okay, so 4 weeks ago, I went on a shakedown trip to Dargo where I cracked my rib, links up the top, all that fun stuff. Rib's about 80%, so I'm going on this trip up to Cape York. But before I do, I need to fix the hot water service because the day after I got back from Dargo, this thing decided to blow its lid, and you can literally see it there. Ever since that day, I've been trying to get a tradie out here, so a plumber, to replace it. Do you think I can? No. So I've contacted, probably 10 all up, texting, ringing, that sort of stuff. 5 of them said they'll definitely come out and have a look, send me the photos through, all that sort of jazz. Yeah, none of them ever did. One got back to me this morning and said, yeah, not interested, got too much on, which, fair enough, whatever. But that's the state we are at the moment with trades in Australia. So I'm going to fix it myself. It's not rocket science. It's literally a straight replacement. And even though they say, a tradie should do it, leave it to the plumbers, leave it to the electricians, you can't get them. If I was running all new pipes, all new wires, that sort of thing, yeah, I would get a tradie to do it. But the fact is, I haven't had hot water in this house for 4 weeks now. Not exactly true. I've got a portable little hot water system that we've been using for showers, but the way the house is built, that sort of stuff, the house hasn't had hot water for 4 weeks. So all I've done so far is I've disconnected everything. This system has a solar regen system, which has never worked since lived in this house. That's going to be fixed at a different point in time. So all I need to do in this instance is hook the cold up to the bottom, hook the hot up to the top, and redo the wiring. So I found a system. It's in Melbourne. I need to go pick it up, mainly because, so it's going to be a 370k round trip just to pick a hot water system up. So the trip itself will take longer than the actual install of the system. So the system I found in Melbourne is $1,000. And then the plumbing supply place, which is 15 k's away from here, which would be ideal to get one from, they want $1,890, and I won't get it till possibly Thursday or Friday. Today's Monday. Now, the one I found in Melbourne, I can get tomorrow, and it's $1,000. So, do the maths on that. It's going to cost me $50, $60 in fuel. Who cares? We're going to go get it. What I found when I disconnected the cold inlet pipe from the mains, from the mains pump here anyway, the old stopcock valve is completely shot. So the water still keeps trickling out. So I've currently got the water turned off. So let's replace that first. Alrighty, so this is the old stopcock valve. It's just pretty much completely shot. So even on full off, it was still dripping out. And I noticed that the pump still kept kicking in to repressurize the system. So then I come out here, I noticed there's water everywhere. So time to replace that. Okay, so in order to get this new stopcock installed, I need to cut off this old fitting, and it's just lucky that I have a flaring tool. The old fitting doesn't want to screw into the new stopcock fully, so it sits there and it's all loose, which is no good. So I need to chop that end off and re-flare it. So we'll do that right now. Okay, we'll give it a bit of a clean up. Okay, so I've got that on with enough room. Put it on the 1/2 inch setting. Should be that one there. we just keep turning. There we go. Is that going to be good enough? Okay, let's put some Teflon tape on. Okay, now that should work. Let's get all the air out of the system. Cool, just heard the pump turn off, so it's pressurized now. The only thing left to do now is when the new system comes, screw that onto the new one, screw that in there. I need to make up a new one of these pipes because I need to change this over for that, and this one just doesn't want to budge. So it's lucky that I do have a spare bit of copper, so I'll make that up to that length because the new replacement is the same dimensions as this, different brand but same dimensions. And yeah, then I just have to screw that into there, the hot water one into the top, and we're good to go. Alrighty, it's the next day, 4-hour round trip and new hot water service. The only issue is it's just started pouring down rain, so I'll go inside, have a coffee, and then get to installing this thing. Okay, it looks like I'm going to be trying to do this in between rainstorms because it's just started again. Now, let's try and get this out because 120 kilos. And we're out. Right, let's get this around the side. All right, before we get too excited, I'll disconnect this other one, get that out of the way, and unpack this one. Okay, so this is on the old hot water system. So we have a black and a red. So active is the red and the neutral is the black. And then on the new system, so 2018 in Australia, they changed all the wiring colors. So active is brown and neutral is blue. So all we do is put active to active, neutral to neutral. So black to blue, red to brown, and we're in business. Now it's absolutely pouring down rain, so it's a bit annoying that I've just untaken the cover off. It's got a ding in it. That's going to be the one spot that you do see, which is a bit annoying. But there's inlet and outlets on both sides of this hot water system. So eventually I will change it over, but not today, because right here is the cold inlet and there is the hot outlet, which is on the right side, and they loop around. So there's the hot water and cold water down the bottom. So I'm just going to hook it up the same as that today. So it just means I need to plug these holes on the other side, but these are the ones I'm going to use. But firstly I need to put the relief valve in, so I'll do that and get back to you. Okay, just come across one slight problem. The inlet on the old one is a male, this is a female, so the connection I've got isn't going to fit. So I either need to get a male connection of this or an adapter to go between the two. So it looks like I have to pop back into town. Everything is plumbed up. good to go. Looking good so far. All right, cold is attached. Still need to get like a insulation for the hot, because this one is all completely stuffed. I haven't shown it, but I actually have turned all the power off, so don't have to worry about those cables down there being live. These are the cables for this solar system. I'm probably just going to get rid of the whole system. I was speaking to some people where I picked this up from today, and those systems up there aren't worth even trying to fix these days. So I'll just have to get some better solar panels to up the electricity rebate, essentially. All right, that is the water side connected. Right, so let's get all these run up through here first. So the thermostat on this hot water system is already set to 70 degrees. We'll see how that goes. It's the maximum this one does. You can take it down to 60. The thermostat on the old one, when I checked it, was set at 95. So I'm actually wondering, when we first moved in, the hot water was like super duper hot. It was crazy. This does not need to be this long, so fix that little red wagon up. And we're going black to blue. And red to brown. And I'll tuck in there like that. There we go. Cover is on. All right, so that's the whole system fully wired up and connected. Before we turn the electricity on, we need to fill it full of water. But before we fill it full of water, we need to go inside, turn every single hot tap on, not fully, because we need to get rid of 400 litres of air out of this system. So I'll go do that and see how we go. Got all the hot taps open inside, not fully, just a little cracked open to let the air out. Now let's fill it full of water. Turn on slowly, hopefully we don't get any leaks. So on this side here, I've got the blanks in, but I haven't put the plastic covers on yet because I want to make sure it doesn't leak. All right, so let's go back inside. So you can let the air out this way too. Alrighty, so it's the next day. New hot water service, working good. So it's heated up overnight. There's no leaks anywhere and super hot coming out of the tap. So what occurred to me is a lot of people might not know how a hot water service actually works. So we're going to pull the old one apart and have a look. I think the old one wasn't maintained very well before we bought this house, and yeah, I'm pretty sure it's all full of mud. That's probably what's destroyed it. So as far as hot water services go, this is about as basic as you can get. This is what's called an electric storage unit. Down the bottom here, which you'll see me fix, is the cold water inlet, so mains pressure. And up the top, we have the hot water outlet. So that's what goes to your house. And then down the bottom here, we have the element, which is what heats the unit. So you can think of this as a massive kettle, essentially. Water comes in the bottom, it's heated by an element, hot water rises, and it's pushed out the top when you open your tap, which then lets more cold water down the bottom and pushes the hot water more to the top. And then the cycle continues and it heats up whenever you have it set. So this one's set to off peak in Australia, which generally means it heats up at night time when electricity prices are the cheapest. So inside here, we have a steel container, which has all the water in it. Then we have a whole bunch of insulation, like an esky. And that's what maintains the heat in there. So here we have your pressure valve. So that's 1000 kPa, which means if the water pressure gets too much and heat's too high, creates steam, it needs somewhere to go. This will automatically open up and let it out. You're supposed to manually check these every month or so, just to make sure it still works, just by doing that. And that's hot water that comes out, so be careful. All right, let's have a look at this old one. Okay, so this is the old system, different brand. So this is a Ream brand. The one I've replaced it with is a Rinnai. Doesn't really matter. They're all to a standard, which I've kept that standard for a long time, which means that the inlet and outlet pipes are the same size, same height. In the top here is what's called an anode, and that's a sacrificial piece of metal. So depending on the type of water that you have, it's going to either corrode that bit of metal or it's going to corrode the inside of your tank. You'd rather it corrode that little bit of metal. Not sure what's in this one, but in the new one, it's a piece of magnesium. Have to check it every 5 years and replace it when it's needed. So we'll crack the top of this off and have a look what happened inside. Looks like the foam insulation's sticking all this down. So let's do it an easy way. Okay, so this is the inside of the water tank. As you can see, it's mainly all styrofoam. This is the anode. It's all fairly corroded in there, but I'll go get a socket and we'll get that out, hopefully. Okay, let's see if this wants to come off. Oh, it does not want to move in a hurry. So as you can see there, that's the top of the tank. There we go. Looks been leaking for a while. And the top of that, I can't actually see any anode on it. It's all fully corroded. Yeah. So I'd say this one hadn't been checked in a long time. Okay, to have a proper look inside, you have to cut this all the way down and pull all this off, and then remove the insulation and then cut inside the tank. So I'm not going to bore you with all that. I'm just going to cut it and then I'll come back once it's opened up. Okay, put one little cut down the middle. So it looks like we can just peel this open now. So let's cut this bottom section out. Let's see what happens, see what we find. Got the hole cut in the bottom. Let's see what we got. Look at all that manky stuff inside the tank. So there's the element. Look at all the stuff that's stuck on the element. That's what happens when you don't put a filter on your water tank. So I put a filter on the water tank when we moved in a few years ago, but there's no saving that one, that's for sure. So that's a 3600 watt or 3.6 kilowatt element. So yep, just looks like the same as what's inside your kettle. What's that? Oh, there we go. That's the rod. That's the sacrificial rod. All your metals that are in your water, so if you have a hard water, these are going to get eaten a lot quicker. But this one had fallen down from the top, just sitting inside the tank. Yeah. Alrighty, now take this one to the tip, I think. Right, so that's the hot water system done for the house now. Everything's working, there's no leaks, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. All I need to do now is take this to the tip, get rid of it before I go. Yeah, still plenty of other things to do around the house, but the main thing now is to get the tyres on the bike, get that all sorted, fix the mic on the headset, which I do have the other part for that, so I just got to make sure that all works. Otherwise, it's going to be voiceover work. The idea is to film a whole lot of stuff and then do a couple of really good videos when I get back, rather than just edit as I go, and then it'll be like a bit of a rush job. So yeah, I did order another camera, so hopefully that rocks up before I go, hopefully, just so I can capture as much as I can. And I'll go through the process on how I'm going to be saving that and keeping all that as a copy as well, so I don't lose anything. But yeah, that's hopefully in the next couple of videos before I go, because there is literally a week to go, and the weather's not looking good according to the weather report, especially for the first couple of days, which is the most important days. Hopefully that changes, but we'll see how we go. So yeah, see you in the next one.